Welcome back to Basic Bananas Radio, where we share tried and tested ways to grow your brand and get more customers. Everything from the latest in marketing and branding, right through to growing your team and creating an irresistible culture.
This is Kevin B's Basic Bananas co-owner, and I'm excited to share with you today Alexis Sikorsky. Now, Alexis grew and scaled his business to get a $100 million exit. And in today's episode, he gives us a really fantastic insight on what it takes to scale a business to that size. He gives us some really great details around what happened when 75% of his revenue disappeared overnight, how he not only got through that, but how he then navigated the PE game in order to get financiers and to grow the business and sell it at the price that he did. It's a really exciting episode, and I can't wait to jump in. So, Alexis, welcome to the call today. So great to have you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's entirely my pleasure. Now, it's not every day that you get to meet someone who has closed a deal as large as yours. Now, as I said in the bio, ultimately you closed $100 million plus exit. So, what if you could tell us about the software company that you created and your journey?
Well, simply put, created a software company in 2000 in Geneva. Started with bespoke development software, and then through M&A, migrate into a proper software company. We're doing software for private banks, and then 2015 we sold 77% of the company to a private equity, and then through successive sales we end up selling the rest of it in 2019.
Wow, phenomenal. There's a lot that just happened in that decade or so or 2 decades since you started the business. Tell us maybe about some of the biggest insights you had along the way about building a team, scaling the business, the financing, the funding. What were some of the major insights you had?
Oh, just a quick and easy question. Basically, tell you all about life in 5 minutes. And I'll
You can
try
have
to
20
do
minutes on
that.
that one if you like.
I'll go through, I think, best learning curve is go through the biggest mistake I made, right? Because I think that's how you learn, it's by your mistake. Um, so I'm gonna bring you to a specific point of time that lots of people still have nightmare about. So we go to 2007, right? My company is doing 11, 12 million revenue, 2, 3 million EBITDA. I'm the king of the world. I think I'm so smart and everything is going great for me. I hire left and right. We overspend in the company. And then 2008 hit. So you remember I'm a company that sell banking softwares to banks, right? So 2008 global financial crisis, basically I lost 75% of my revenue in one day. So basically everything that was new revenue, planned revenue, and anything that was not strictly recurring revenue was gone. So now I'm in a real struggle, right? Because I have no war chest. I have no cash in my bank account because why would I? Everything is going so great. Yeah, that leads to 6 years of grind. So that's one example of be smart, have a war chest. When I work to client right now, one of the first target is, do we have 9 months of war chest, right? Um, Second example is the call from private equity. 2015 private equity call. I'm exhausted. I've been grinding for 6, 7 years. The company is just back to break even, and private equity call to buy the company. I don't know what a private equity. I don't know what they want. I don't speak private equity. I have no idea how to run. Turns out I've been fantastically lucky that these guys have actually been good guy and it was a good exit. But second meeting, second example of how you get prepared is you learn private equity. You understand what it is, etc. So that's two example of learning curve. The rest about teams and processes and strategies, yeah, you learn. It's not crazy complicated.
Amazing. Take us back to that time when you said 2008, all of a sudden 75% of your revenue is gone. And now clearly we know you've come out the other end, but how did you handle it in the moment? Because for many businesses, that would have been game over.
Um, Firing half the company twice,
Yeah.
which by the way is something I don't wish my worst enemy to have to go through. Mortgaging my house every month, like asking ourselves, like, are we in a good money chasing bad money situation? Is there an out to it? It's like grinding, being miserable. There's no, like, it could have been so easy. Could have been so easy if I had like 6, 9 months of burn rate in there. Like, would have been so easy.
Hence your key message. You got to have a war chest whatever stage of
Yes.
business you're at. You say six, you said 9 months, actually 9 months of war chest there. Now you made it through that very challenging time, and then PE showed up at your door. Now you sound like you sold your business in stages over several years. So you said you didn't speak private equity, you didn't understand that. So what did you learn through the process that a lot of founders don't really see coming?
Oh, like that list is literally 50 pages long, but I'll give you the gist of it. First of all, please, 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 when you sell to a private equity, do your due diligence. Like somehow it's considered perfectly fine for the private equity to come and do 6 months of due diligence on you, which by the way, I named the 6 months colonoscopy. You go through 6 months colonoscopy, but you don't do any due diligence on your private equity. Like, like do your research who you are selling to. There is like steps that you can do that are super easy. Um, Try to really, really understand what is private equity. Most people don't understand private equity, and that's why they're scared. They don't know what private equity is. They don't know it's mainly a leverage game. They don't know anything about private equity. They think, oh, they're going to fire me. They're going to fire all my team. Um, so understand what private equity is, and also understand what it means to sell your company. Like you sell your company, it's not your company anymore. Like I hammer that in my client. Say, oh, yeah, I'm selling my company, but do you think they're going to let me run it exactly the way I want? No. No, they won't. It's not your company anymore. It's their company. They give you 100 million check in exchange for your company. So they will keep you at CEO if you do a good job, but now you have a boss. Like these guys are your boss. You sold your company. And that's like that a lot of the misunderstanding and people complaining about private equity is like, yeah, I sold my company and now they don't let me work the way I want. Yeah, it's their company. Like it's lots of little things like that. There's plenty I learned about private equity.
And it's a really important distinction to make because I know certainly I've worked with clients who've gone through that journey and they want to keep the culture the same. They want to maybe run the business the same, but of course, ultimately that becomes out of their hands. And so when you say you do your due diligence, what's the most important thing that these founders should be looking for in a good acquisition partner?
Okay. First and number one, super easy, takes 5 minutes, but some people don't do it. Do they have the money they say they have?
Ah,
That's
important
that's
question.
yeah, that's more to be honest, it's more a VC thing than a P thing. Usually P are established company and they do have the money, but still take 5 minutes to ask them, do you actually have the money or are you building a deal flow to raise the money? But it's again, P usually it's not a big issue. Um and then like it's the people you're gonna work with on a daily basis for the next 3, 5, maybe more years. Are they good people? Like, I know it
Ooh,
sounds subjective, but are they good people? So I'll tell you how I do a private. Now I know a lot of private equity, but in the case I'm in with a private equity, I don't know. This is the way I proceed for due diligence. It's free. It takes very little time. Any founder should do that. So first of all, you tell them. You tell them, okay, thank you for your offer. I'm going to take it into consideration. And for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to do a due diligence on you. They're perfectly okay with that. They find it completely normal. So the first thing you ask them for 3 to 5 names of people they bought and they work with. They will give you these names absolutely no problem. Obviously, you're never going to call these people. But that's going to give you the list of 5 people you don't have to call because you know they will have a very good story, right?
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. Then you go on their website, you find the companies in their portfolio. It's almost always public. You go on LinkedIn, you find the founders of this company, you get in touch with them and you say, hey, if they are in your city, I'll say, hey, would you tell me your story in exchange for a beer? I still to meet somebody who says no to that. And if it's a Zoom call, it's a Zoom call. People love to tell the story. And you're gonna in this conversation, you're gonna assess, I'd say, two things. One is, are they good people? Like, do they pretty much do they do what they say? That's important. Did they fire you? Why? They're allowed to fire you. You're their employee, so don't be offended if they fire you. But it's a good information to have. And there is one behavior of private equity that I'm trying to suss out immediately is a client of mine called it fish and chip. It means like they're going to fish you with a very high valuation. And then during the due diligence, they're going to chip at the valuation, right? I'm going to give you 100 million for your company. 6 months after, 6 months later, after the private equity, yeah, but you know, we saw that and that and that, and so it's going to be 100 now. It's going to be 80, and it's very, very hard to get out of that because, like, we're human. We spend the money, right? Like, either in our head or if you're stupid like me in real life. So it's really hard to get out of that.
Yeah, okay. Because like psychologically, there's a deal here, and if you walk away, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I really love that. There's some very valuable insights in there. So make sure that they've got the money and then make sure they're good people and you give them some really great ways there. I particularly like the idea of, inviting someone for their story in exchange for a beer. I think that's just such a smart move. And we can use that in many aspects, not just necessarily in the private equity part of the process. Now, in building your business, I know from some of the documents I've read on you, you basically say a plan, beyond 4 years is a dream and is not a strategy. So why is that your hard limit? How does that really change how business owners and founders should be planning their business?
Because life has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because man make plans and God laughs.
Yeah.
Because 9/11, because global financial crisis, because COVID, because Trump, because every like kind of short amount of time, something will happen and that's only external. Add the internal issue. I had a heart attack a year ago. Like, how do you plan for that?
Yeah.
And there is a divorce, and there is like something happened to one of your children because something always happened to one of your children. So there is like life event, world events. Something will get in the way of your best laid plans, right? So if I see, also that's my personality. I'm an impatient person. I don't operate well in 6 year plans. So I keep telling my clients, you do 4 year plans. And now I have a very strong rule. If I meet a prospect, and I understand his number, because the first thing you discuss with a founder is, what's your number? How much money do you need to get out of your company? And when I know his number is his or her number, the question is, can I achieve that in 4 years? And if not, I'm out. It's not going to be a client of mine. Yeah, for that reason.
Very clear. And how should a founder actually calculate their number? What's an appropriate thing for them to
Uh,
think about to get something realistic?
I have such a contrarian opinion on that. Um, okay, everybody thinks everyone's numbers are so different. But by making founders talk, actually, it's pretty much one universal number, and it's 40 million. It's a very,
40.
very simple reason. 40 million, yeah. It's a very simple basic math, right? You grinded like 4 years. Most of the guys I work with grinded for basically their whole life to get to that exit. You need to be sure of two things. You need to be sure, one, that you're not going to work and one more day on in your life unless you want to, but you can choose never to work. A lot of them tell me, "Oh yeah, but no way I could stop working. I would do something." Yeah, but what if what you want to do is not something profitable? What is you want to do charity or whatever. So be in a situation where you don't have to work. If you still want to work, it's bonus. And the second thing is that usually you have kids and you worked your whole life. You want to leave money to your kids, right? So you want to be in a situation where the money you get, you never touch and you live on the interest of this money. Then it becomes a very, very simple calculation. Like 40 million give you 5%, give you 2 million per year. Taxman will take half that. 1 million per year is a very comfortable lifestyle for an entrepreneur who grinded his whole life. So everyone number usually should run around this number. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I'll be happy with 10." And I say, "No, actually, you won't be happy with 10. And let me explain to you why." And then you have the guys like me, in a way, he said back, "I like 100 as a number." Also because it's a little bit my brand, like bringing companies to 100 million, but usually there are more than one founder. So you need more than 40 million to get 40 million in the hands of the founder.
Wow, amazing. So anyone can live a pretty good life on $1 million per annum after tax, and that's what you help people do. And I know you do that through the idea of a mastermind, but I know you don't like that term, and you run yours in a different way. So tell us about your mastermind. What are you doing with these founders?
Well, at the moment, the mastermind is a project, and it's going to remain a project for a minute because I actually focusing right now on something a little bit different. So what I do is, well, my friends call me the founder's whisperer. So what I do is I actually make founders benefit from our experience of growing and selling a company. So it's going to be like meeting and chatting with them. I do not produce PowerPoint, so don't expect me to give you PowerPoint. I give you my time and conversations and direction and guidance. That's what I do. But then in the process of like working with several company, I noticed there is one growing pain that actually I can help with. You know, when you grow a company, you have several growing pains, and one of the hardest to overcome is when you reach like 8, 10 million revenue. You're suddenly in a situation when you need like C-level people, uh, really good C-level people, but you cannot afford them yet. Right? If your company has 8 million revenue, you have 2 million EBITDA, a CFO will eat like a quarter of your EBITDA. So what I did is I actually called all my friends that I've been working with for all my C-level friends, been working there for 30 years, say, "Hey guys, would you enjoy helping smaller company pass this step?" And they all say, "Oh yeah, fun." And what I do now is I sell actually teams, not individual guys, but I sell a team in a company like think like Navy SEALs. We go in, we fix, we build, and we get out. And we call that the virtual C-suite. And I'm focusing on that right now because it's really, really fun to do.
Sounds like a very fun thing to do, and you can help a lot more businesses that way. So, how many businesses can you help at a time with your Navy SEALs?
My target is 30. And the reason my target is 30 because I'm a maniac and I'm absolutely crazy. But I calculated that with 30, I have another 100 million companies in my hand. Takes 30 clients to get to 100 million.
Yeah, great. I love that, and that's a really great vision to make that happen. And as far as these C-suite executives that you have, then it's a fun project for them. They're very skilled, and they get to
Yeah.
help. So recruiting them must be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, a lot of them are retired or like semi-retired like me. We are a bunch of like we dive together, we play golf together, we're all semi-retired. And like, yeah, they love, and we love working together, right? It's the key. We've been working together for 30 years. So there's guys from New Access in there. There's guys I did my executive MBA in Oxford with. So it's like really, really smart people. And the good thing with smart people is you don't need them like for a very long time or a very long duration. Usually it's like 1 day a week for 2, 3, 4 months, and then we're out. That's the idea. And also it gives us an opportunity, which is now we know the company really, really well because I've been advising them. We have people, and that's very often I ask kindly the founders to let me invest a little bit in the company. They're usually super happy with that because now I have even more skin in the game. So it's like it creates an ecosystem like that, which is really nice for us.
Yeah, really awesome. And I guess it's a good way to secure your investment because you know they're getting good advice and they're going to go in the right
Yeah.
direction. Very, very smart move. Very smart move. You mentioned, that if the number's not right, they don't have a realistic number, you're out of there, you're not interested. What else do you look for? How do you pick the businesses that you know that you can really help? You're talking about 10xing or more. So how do you pick the businesses? How do you know which ones are the good ones?
Okay. That's actually the first easy question you asked because I have very clear criteria.
Yeah.
8 million or more.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely I'll go five if the company is really fantastic. 8 million or more revenue. I don't do solopreneurs and all that stuff. I bring no value. I don't do startups because I bring no value. I don't understand the startup world. Founders led, which means the guy I'm talking to is the guy who can make decisions. I'm way too old to have all my advice go through a board or whatever, whatever kind of collegial management there is in there. I want companies that have lots of opportunities, but that struggle tackling the opportunities because of lack of organization, talent, which, by the way, it's almost all the companies at some point. And I want to either steer clear of lifestyle business, or if somebody that has lifestyle business and I have a real will to change. Like I bring no value to a lifestyle business. I love lifestyle business. I think they're fantastic. I'm not looking down on them. It's all about operational excellence and tax optimization, which is stuff I bring no value. So.
Love it. Very clear. And so if they have clear opportunity and it sounds like they need that C-suite, they're at that stage, the 8 to 10 mil, and you bring in your Navy SEALs and off they go. Hey, well, Alexis, I appreciate you. You've been very kind to give up your time today. And I know you've got other things to get to. You shared some fantastic insights from today's call. Is there anything else that would be valuable, that you want to share? Any final messages?
It's not a final message. Well, it's a final message in a sense. It's the last thing I'm gonna say. But just like be careful that your steering wheel match your engine. I see so many entrepreneurs who run like headless chicken that are fantastically talented, have a great company, a great product, but don't really know where they want to go.
Okay, so get clear on where you want to go, but maybe don't plan more than 4 years ahead because everything is going to be
Absolutely.
changing around you anyway. It's a really valuable lesson. Now, wherever you're listening, click in the show notes. There's a link there back to Alexis' site, and you'll be able to connect with him directly there. And outside of that, I guess a good place for them to come find you would be somewhere like LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have a complicated name, so as long as you get my name right, you'll find me easy.
Great. Well, we'll put both of those links there. And I really appreciated our time today and your insights. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
To get more from Basic Bananas and to learn new ways to grow your business with clever marketing, visit basicbananas.com.